Shalom, shalom, family. This is Zion, our daughter of Zion, and I thought it would come on today. I've been on here for a while, so I thought it would come on today and share a map I ran across that actually is referenced in a book that I have. So the map is actually a book on a map on the Yemen. These are the African continent of North Africa. So these are African Jews found in these areas that's going to be marked in red. All over this map is that's marked in red is talking about these African Jews in these different settlements and locations. In particular, the Jews are the ones is the Yemen Jews, the Falashi Jews, the Berber, Moorish, and the Negro Jews. And it goes on to say that the name in red in the Northern Sahara. Okay, let's do this. Okay. Oh my goodness. I hate when I do that. Oh my goodness. I should have had this all set up. Okay, so hold on. Bear with me. Okay, there you go. Yemen Jews and Falasha Jews, Berber Jews, Moorish, and Negro Jews. The names in red in the northern Sahara are oases in which some Berber Judaism survives. It is an estimate about 15,000 Yehudians are scattered through the interior. Other names in red are places of ancient Yehudim colonies. In some cases, an approximate date of the settlements is added. So I don't use the word Jews or Jewish. I use the Yehudim, which is the actually the ancient name for the house of Judah. Um, but this is particular talking about these lost tribes. It's a myth that they're not lost, but they're in these locations. And these locations that's on this map is before the exile, pre-exilic, pre-exile or pre-exile, right before Babylonian. So meaning that they were here before the exile. It was in these locations way before the Babylonian exile. So hold on just a minute. Okay. Yeah. So pre-exilic means previous to the exile of the Yehudians to Babylon in about 600 AD. BC, I mean 600 BC. So let's get started and look at some of these areas that it's talking about. Um, I'm going to read this. It says the Manon Philistines, the compiler of Genesis 10:14, knew that the Palestine and the other Cretans were in Oasis stronghold. Um, Car Gahim, I can read that right there because it's blocked there. Trolled by Egypt. Calcium, out of which came Pelisium and Catharim, it is not possible on so small a map to show all the surviving Palestinian communities. Okay, wow. We know if the Palestinians, the Philistines, actually is from come from the lineage of Ham. So, anyways, if you go look at Genesis 10, um, starting from 10 on, because the Ham was that was a very large tribe, larger than Japhite and Shemite, Shem. So anyway, so here we go. Let me go over here. So I'm starting to see some Yehudim colonies, settlements, St. Thomas Yehudim right here. Then you have the Mavubu Yehudians here. So when it says then Kabinda survivals, so they're saying in this area, this is where they were located. This is where they settled in this area here. And let's see what's under that. Then you have the Londa Yehudians here as well in this area here. I guess it's just above Gambum is what it's saying. Let me move over a little and see if I can see something from there. No. So let's go up. I'm going to go up a little. Now again, this particular map comes from a book called The Lost Tribe, a Myth, and it's by Alan H. Godbey, Godbey. And this particular book is about an 800 page on the Lost Tribe, a Myth. So Amazon carries it, but it's like $14,000. Go figure that. But you can go on ABE Books, and it's much, much cheaper. I mean, I'm talking about an amount that you can afford. Um, I think probably both of them probably like a maximum probably about $200 to $300 for both of the books. Now, when I ordered the books from AB Books, it took about 3 weeks because they were out of print. And so it took about 3 weeks for me to take. And I was getting a little discouraged because I'm like, oh, this is a long time. It's a scam. Da 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 da. I called my bank, but come to find out, they finally sent it to me, and I was like so embarrassed. But I finally received the books. It took about 3 weeks. So here is also up going to the left up here. You see my marker, the St. Thomas Yehudim. St. Thomas Yehudim, right here. You have the Mamvumbu Yehudim, the Kambinda survivors, and then you also have the Loda Yehudim. And the arrows indicate the areas where they settled. Now this is I don't see. I know it's in this area, pointing to this area. Maybe it's of like Gamboon, and also maybe it's the area at Cameroon because Cameroon is just above it. So maybe that's the area. I'm gonna move to the left and get some more. Um, so now we have the Levite cities, Levite city, Bani Ephraim, and here's the arrow saying the Torah Carta heads of the pattern 500 BC in foreign quarters of Memphis. Remember, it says at some location they give some numbers as far as the time that they settle there. So here is Gold Coast, and to the right there's Slave Coast. Around 500 BC, arrow going up here, here, and if the arrow pointing this way, you see Dahomey here. And then right above that, you see the Dahomey Jews. Now, before I go on, I want to read a portion out of the book called The Travel in North Africa. And this is by Nahum Slouch. And he's a Jewish traveler and explorer that decided to go out and seek out the African Jews that was in Africa. He's going to make it very clear in this statement here. So I'm going to go ahead and read it at the beginning. It says, the present volume is the result of 10 years of travel among the Yehudim of Africa and much of study and research into their history, the ethnographic, uh, and research into their history and ethnographic. Thanks to, I guess the area is talking about. I'm trying to, y'all have to excuse me because I'm trying to pronounce these words correctly. It says, thanks to the French occupation, the second half of the last century saw the rise of a movement to revive scientific research into African history, with special reference to classical antiquity and the medieval Berbers and Arab world. You know, I have to say too, some of the writing here it can be a little faded, but the book is still a good book, and it's still in large, medium writing font, so you can still read it. But it says, Berber and Arab world. My studies having led me by chance in 1905 to take up as a Hebrew scholar the history of the Yehudim of Morocco under the auspices of the Scientific Mission of Morocco. I was struck by the great importance of the problem of the ethnic and historic origin of the various groups of the African Yehudim. Little attention had been paid to this problem, but I saw that the study of the question might well throw new light on the origin and history of the Yehudians throughout the whole Mediterranean basin. On taking into consideration the conclusion reached by the general African research, I realized that the special condition particular to Africa and the scarcity of the documents was sufficient to discourage the most zealous historical adventure. Wow. Yeah, that they didn't pay any attention to, very little attention was given to the Yehudians in Africa, all these different settlements and tribes. I saw that only one course was open to me, to follow the example of all the historians of Africa and to undertake a series of voyages across northern Africa. So actually the African historian did their work already. And he said saying the work that they did, there was no attention really given to it. But he taken upon himself that he gonna look into those adventures that the African historians did and documented. I saw that only one course was open to me, to follow the example of all the historians of the Africa and to undertake a series of voyages across northern Africa, visiting in person localities of historical interest and collecting historical evidence, both documentary and traditional, touching on the life and custom of the Yehudians of Africa. I don't want to read too much of this, but I'm going to go over here and I think I'll stop here because I don't want to get into reading the book. But I just wanted to show that um, he also went into these areas just as well as Alan H. Godby did. And Alan A. H. Godby book is The Lost Tribe, a Myth. So they both was doing their research and they're traveling in Northeast Africa to find the lost tribes in Africa as well. So it's just proof that, um, and the map is proving that there are African Jews in Africa. We already know that, but for those who keep naysaying or naysayers. So anyway, I'm gonna get back to the map, and I'm gonna go over here to where it says again Gold Coast, Slave Coast. I'm gonna leave my book because I want to read another portion regarding the the Tropoli. I guess I'm pronouncing that right. Africa's, I mean, a tribe of the town of the North Africa, Tropoli, Barbary. Okay, so where do I want to read that? Or did I want to read that? Let me see. Nah. Let's see. I think I will. I guess I can read that later. But let's look at some more settlements here where they settled. So again, we have Levite here, the Levite, Benin, Ephraim, Dahomey. Let's see. We'll go back to the left a little. Sierra Leone, the Jewish trace here. Let me just go to the left a little. And it says the present population here, the Jewish traces here, right up in here. Ashante, going towards over here is Dahomey Yehudians. I remember I read this, the present population driven, and this is where they were driven by Alexander through Berber intermediaries, old Phoenicians, Minos, the Minoans, ornaments still found. So there was traces of them right here. That's what it says Judean traces. So there was traces. This is Alexander, these individuals. This individual and the Muslim after long traces with coasts from Carthage to Alexandria through Berber intermediary, old Phoenicians, Minoans, and ornaments were still found there during that time. So that's what it says Yehudian traces of Jewish um, tradition, I guess, and that they were living there, resided there. And again, the homie. So let me go up a little. Okay, and then I'm going to see right here. Let me go right here. It says, I guess the medieval Judean kingdom, Kemnuri, um, the Yehudian kingdom of Ganata or Ghana. And it says, see note at the end of the sheet. The Lam once a Jewish or Yehudian colony right next to Timbuktu. Okay, in this area. And then if we go down here to the left, where it shows Judeo, I think that's, I'm trying to see, I know I can see gayism. Or what is that, paganism? I think it's paganism, Judeo paganism. So they were practicing paganism here, I guess. And this is some Gambia and Cape Verde. And again, these are locations, he said, where they were presently had colonies at. And all this red indicate this is where they were in the red. This is where the African tribes were. Well, not African tribes. This is where the scattered or the lost tribe was found in these African areas, in Africa, Northeast Africa, in these areas. Okay, so I'm going to go to the right, slide over to the right. And then I'm going to go up. Did I read that down there? Yeah, I did. I don't know what all this is. Degrees and pillars and then Gale. Is that Gogo or Togo? Is that a T right now? Or is it Gogo? That's when I say Gogo. Um, uh, I can't read this. I won't even try. All I know is here it says Libyan dynasty founded among the Negroes about 620 AD. Because again, the map um, is for the map is for let me go back to this. Falashi Jews, Negro Jews. I think it says, um, and the what was it, Falashi? Um, what's the Falashi Jews, the Yemen Jews, or Yehudians, the Falashi, the Berbers, the Moors, and the Negro Jews. So this is where these individuals located, which is a lost tribe, and they're not lost. That's why the book says lost tribe is a myth. They're not lost; they're just scattered. um, so let's go up some. So Beni Musa, Beni Musa, Rio de Janeiro, Rio de Oro, Beni Musa. I want to show something else here. Where is it? Uh, I want to read. There it is, right here. I want to read it out of the book. So the Tripoli tradition of Jewish garrison, the whole Jews or Yehudians, and out of the book of travel in North Africa, that is one of the places where he went to do his study regarding the history of the Yehudians of Tripoli. And this is what he says. I'm just going to read a little of it. Um, it says in the book of travel in North Africa, it says history of the Yehudians or Tripoli. There has been Yehudians in the town of Tripoli from the earliest times, perhaps even from the period of the Phoenician colonization. It is certain that in the 4th century, the town boasts rabbis well versed in Hebrew. For St. Augustine relates the following episode. When the book of Jonah in the Vulgate of St. Jerome was introduced, for the first time into the town of Oni, Tripoli, the bishop of the place commanded that it should be recited in the local church. It chanced, however, that one verse of prophetic book, which was very popular among the Christians, was given a different interpretation in the Vulgate than in the Septuagint, and this discrepancy did not fail to anger the faithful Judeans. The bishop carried the dispute to the Judeans who followed the Hebrew text, upheld the version of the Septuagint. This is direct testimony that the Judeans of ancient Africa held to their Hebrew text, although unfortunately we know very little about those Judeans. But it is certain that during the centuries of the Yehudim population of Tripoli, many times overflowed into the town of Libya. So let's look at this. Here's Tripoli. It says flows into the desert, Sahara Desert. And right next to the Sahara Desert, or right next to Tripoli, is Libya. Okay. It is certain that during the centuries, the Judean population of Tripoli many times overflowed into the town of Libya. And here it is right here. There's Libya here. Tripoli, Libya, Sahara Desert here. It says it is on the outskirts of Oasis of Tripoli. It is. Outskirts of Tripoli of Libya. That one of the most ancient rabbinic tombstones in Africa has been found. It is now in the possession of Rabbi Ben Zion Chishuba. Let's see, do I want to say this? I want to see that first. This is part I wanted to say right here. See, I don't want to read too much of that. The present edition comes in with okay. It says the persistence of the tradition which connect the Yehudians of Tripoli with the desert is confirmed. They are connected with the desert. Tripoli, there's the Sahara Desert here, right next to Libya. There's also the desert, Libya Desert. Sahara Desert, Libya, right next door to Tripoli. So just again, the book confirming that the same information on this map, these two individuals researching this back then. This 1927, even prior to this was what, 1927, back in the 1920s. They were researching, this is already researched and confirmed and documented. Because remember, he said he's going to document everything that the actual African scholars had already mapped out and had already confirmed this. But he said he was going to go and also, and all he had to do was use what they had already prepared, and it confirmed. Okay, so here to the right, it says Elephantine, Yehudin garrison, 6 something BC, the Nubus, Wawat. I'm going to have to research some of these names because just for my curiosity, I want to research some of these names they haven't read. The Abydos Yehudians, Persian period. That's around the Lebanon desert. Jupiter Ammon, Oasis, silver look like. I think that's silver. Then look at this Hamampo Yaism 700 BC. Yehudim period. The Abydos, Persian. Then YATH, I don't know what that is. Yah something. YAH, Yafi, Judaize, pre-Muslim time. I just wished all that black with dark lines and stuff wasn't there. Let's see. We go over to the right. Sheba Zaba, Yemen Jews, the Yehudins. I just don't want to see that word Jews is Judeans. That's the long. I'm trying to read that. Not right now, at least. And then we've seen this where it says that Pre Exilic Yahism, that the ancient Israelite worship Yahweh. Hebrew, Nubia, Falashi, and they say Yeha, Arabian, Abyssinian, Tabiban, Yehudians. And then also Wazabara, Yehudians traces or Jewish traces here as well. So they're all over Africa. All over Africa. Did I show you Nigeria up in here too? Did I show you Nigeria? Oops. Let me see. Where was that? Nigeria. Nubia. I think it was down there with his sister. Um, mm-hmm. Where did it show that? Gambi, Gambubu, Cameroon, Nigeria. Nigeria. Levites. Levite cities in Nigeria, right below Nigeria, Nupos. Benin, Ephraim. Logo Coast. You've seen also where we saw the slave coast as well. Right here. All the coasts was close together. Gold Coast. Let me move that over. Gold Coast, Slave Coast, and Logo Coast. Longo Coast. And Longo Coast of Mavumbu, Yehudians, Kambinda survivors up in here. Let me see if I can see what if those line up with rivers. Just the coast, Gold Coast. Dahomey was part of the Gold Coast. Benin, Ephraim, Benin. St. Thomas. And again, Logo Coast. Loganda Jews, or Yehudians. So I'm pretty sure I probably can go over some more of this, but I just thought I would share. Um, I came across it and it came to mind. Oh wait, I have books that reference this information. So I went into the books, and sure enough, both books referenced this map and verified that there were Negro Jews in colonies in Africa, all over Africa. So in saying that, you all, I hope you enjoy this little section regarding the map. I thought it was interesting, enlightening, and proof that we were in the coast of Africa when they picked us up, and there was colonies there when they took us out of those places into slavery, because we showed you the different slave coasts, and so the coast of Africa, that's where they got us, on the coast of Africa. And they lied saying no they didn't, and they lied through their teeth. Liars, pants on fire. Here it is again, Logo Coast. Go right up here, come back. There is the Gold Coast and the Slave Coast. And around the Slave Coast, what do you find? You find Dahomey, you find You find Nigeria too. Ashanti, you find Ghana, you find